It's the Daily Dog.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Doug. I am thankful that you are here today. Today we're going to do another reaction, and we're going to do it to the Foo Fighters. I have heard the Foo Fighters before. I love their music, but I have not heard any of their new album yet. And so one of my friends said, hey, don't forget about the Foos, so we'll include them. And I'm over here at the piano at the church where I work because I wanted to show you a little bit about how I do the stuff that I do and how I approach critical listening when I'm doing these reaction videos. Some of you have asked if I have perfect pitch. I do not have perfect pitch. Far from it. Actually, my wife is a French horn player. She has much better pitch than I do. But I have worked very hard for a number of years to develop pretty good relative pitch. So if I can give myself a reaction or a starting point, a reference point, like for an instance, if I know that that's a C and I can hear my intervals pretty well, then I can figure out where the notes are going and be able to identify them. So as long as I have a pretty safe reference, I know that that's a C, I know that that's a G, right, and that's an A, then F, and G, down a C, and B flat, and so on, right? So once you know where a specific note is and can define it, then if you have good relative pitch, you can just sort of follow along. And with these rock bands, a lot of these rock bands use chords in root position. So if you could follow the bass, then you can normally follow the roots of the chords. As I'm doing screen capturing on this other phone, if I stop it, it stops the video. So I'm gonna do this just straight through and see what I can find and then talk at you as I go. So that's how this is gonna work. Foo Fighters, this is gonna be, let's see, how do I make it do, I'm gonna do screen capture. We can do this, y'all. Okay. Waiting on a War. Remember where we were? That's a C.
I've been waiting on a war since I was young.
It's up a step, indeed.
Since I was a little boy with a toy gun.
4.
Never really wanted to be number one.
5. Suspended.
Just wanted to love everyone.
4.
Is there more to this than that?
G.
Is there more to this than that? Is there more to this than that? Is there more to this? More to this?
Flat 7.
More to
C
this
chord.
than just waiting on a war. Just waiting on a war.
D. B flat. F. C.
Every day waiting for the sky to fall.
Yeah.
Big crash on a world that's so small. Just a boy with nowhere left to go. Fell in love with the voice on the radio. Is there more to this than that? Is there more to this than that? Is there more to this than that? Is there more to this? More to this?
Subtonic.
More to this than just waiting on a war?
Flat. Flat 6. Flat 3. Flat 7.
Waiting on a war. Just waiting on a war for this and that. There's got to be more to this than that. Just waiting on a war for this and that. There's got to be more to this than that.
how they're going from one place to another? Like every measure they're switching chords. You can follow the bass, then you can kind of figure out what they're doing.
Is there more to this? More to this?
Flat 7.
More to this than just waiting on a word.
B flat.
Just waiting on a word.
Obviously, I haven't heard this. I keep messing up.
Just waiting on a word for this and that. There's got to be more to this than that. Just waiting on a word for this and that. There's got to be more to this and that. Just waiting on a word for this and that. There's got to be more to this and that. Just waiting on a word for this and that. There's got to be more to this and that. 'Cause I need more.
What's those basic chords? B, B flat, G. All three chords have G. Every chord. That's the tonic note. Cool. All right. Okay, we'll stop that recording. Cool. What do you guys think? So that's how we do that, or that's kind of the mindset that I'm in. And I can miss quite a bit, actually. I end up listening for that sometimes more than I'm listening for the lyrics or anything else, because it's just my own perspective. When I start listening into that stuff, that's one of the first things I want to clue into. What key are they in? Where are they going on chords? What's their harmonic language? Where are the loops? Where is it sort of cycling? What is their harmonic palette? And then I start thinking about all the other stuff. That's just my own approach. Stop that. My YouTube kept going. But that's how we do that. And so I hope that's interesting to you. The one chord that he went to, when he went to that 5 chord, it's an A7 chord, except instead of a C sharp, it's got a D in that chord. So it's an A7 chord, A, C sharp, E, G, but instead of a C sharp, it's a D. So it seems like in all of these, or in most of these progressions, they've got the D, or the tonic, or the root of this entire key in most of these chords. They've got D, and then A minor, or A7 sus4, right? Then 2/7, and then 4. That D is in every one of those chords. Right? And then when he went to the B flat stuff, that's kind of cool, because B flat, we're in D major, is not in that key. B flat is not in that key. So why does it sound cool and why does it work? Well, B flat is the flat 6 chord in this key, and it comes from D's parallel minor key, from D minor, not D major. So they're kind of borrowing that submediate chord, that 6 chord, from D's minor key instead of its major key. And then once they get into that, then it's kind of like they're in D minor for a while. Or using the notes from D minor. They start in D, and then they go to B flat, and then F, and then C. And that becomes subtonic back to 1. And towards the end of the song, I think they were doing that, going straight to the G chord. 1, flat 6, straight to 4. But that's kind of a little bit of insight into what I'm thinking when I do these reactions. So that's where I'm coming from. I hope that it's interesting to you. If it is, then keep tuning in, because that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on, as well as other compositional tools, orchestration ideas, really interesting melodic lines, and of course, stellar musicianship and playing and all that goes with enjoying music together. So thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time on The Daily Doug.